Hey everybody, it is Tuesday and it's 2 o'clock, which means it is time for Top 5 Tuesday. I really didn't mean to make a grand entrance. I just had to turn my light on over there, but it was kind of fun. And I am really excited to be able to tell you that this is our 5-year anniversary for Crate Insider. It was actually yesterday, so it's really odd to launch your website on April Fool's, but at the same time, it's easy to remember. So every year I can always say, like, no fooling, it really is our anniversary, or we really were launching this website. So that was pretty exciting. And if you didn't get a chance to check out our video yesterday, we had a little bit of fun with April Fool's Day, and we introduced the lightest and the lightest and safest fan for race cars on the market. And so that was pretty fun. Now, if you're checking out my awesome hat here, the reason why, you guys know when I wear something different, usually that, you know what that means. It means if I've got one, it means I've got one for you too. So this is what we're giving away this week is our hat from LSM Racing Products. I have to thank Heidi and Tim out there at Logan Smith Machine, LSM Racing. And they just sent these with my last orders to give away on the show. I'm really excited about that. And to be a part of our giveaway, all you need to do is you can just leave a comment. You can say hi. You can just put in a little emoji, whatever you want to do in the comments. And then at the end of this video, then we'll bring up random number generator. Based on how many comments, we'll stick that number in and we'll pick a winner. We also do, for any of you loyalists who come back week after week after week, we also do a second drawing. And if you remember what my sign said last week, then put that into the comments and we'll do a separate drawing. And what we're giving away for that drawing this week is one of our Crate Insider sling grips. I just showed these off, I think it was last week. And what these are for is you put them on the back of your phone and see, it's like this little elastic band. So, oh, look, it's magic. Like I'm magically holding my phone. It's not magic. It's a really cool sling grip with Crate Insider on it. So that's pretty exciting. And that's going to be our giveaway item for, if you remember what my sign said. And speaking of my sign, this is the phrase that's on here this week because it's something that just comes up in so many conversations that I have, especially in the office where we're talking about, well, I'm doing Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter, all the things. We have to do all the things. And this time of year, when you're putting your race car together, you've got this laundry list of all the things that you're trying to get done on your race car. So since this is just a phrase we use all the time around here, I just thought it would be fun to put it onto the sign. Now, there's another video that we also had between last week and this week, is we put out a video talking about the Klotz CR601 fuel. Now, it was a video that we did at PRI, but we just released it last week because we've now started carrying that fuel in our store in North Carolina. So if you are somewhat reasonably close to the North Carolina area and you're looking for that fuel, that is something that we are stocking. So that's exciting. And plus, you can just hear a little bit about fuel, which we will talk about. Now, like I was mentioning in the very beginning, I really wanted to say that thank you for all of you for being here, for being part of Crate Insider. It means the world to me. I can't even describe. I never thought I would be, I don't even know. I didn't really have anything in my mind 5 years ago when I started this business. And I was just sitting at my desk, sitting at my computer, hiding behind the keyboard and just doing my best and trying to make deals and become a dealer and just really all the things that it takes to build a business. And to make so much progress in that period of time, to have such an amazing group of customers. I just don't even think I could have envisioned that 5 years ago. And so I just really, from the bottom of my heart, just thank you for being here. But with that, we wanted to do something special for the fact that it is our 5-year anniversary. So what are we going to do? Instead of just like the products of the week, I thought we'd do something a little more fun. Well, it's not like it's more fun. It's just something a little bit different. And with that, actually, before I go into top 5, I did want to show you a product from LSM because we are talking about LSM today. And one of my favorite products and one of the most popular, and it is a little nostalgic, I have to say too, because the very first video that we shot for Crate Insider, of course we shoot tons of videos, but the very first one we did was how to change valve springs on a 604. And that is still, to this day, one of our most popular videos on YouTube is how to change valve springs. And this is the valve spring changing tool from LSM. And one of the options when you buy it, and you may not even know what it is, and we don't show it in the video because we didn't have one back then, but this is the speed handle. So you can have this as an option. You can see that it has right here, it'll just go right onto here. So then you can spin this really, really fast, just like that. Or you can even put it on the other end here. There we go. And if you need more torque or whatever you need there too. So you've got a couple of different options. So it can be a lot faster. It's called a speed handle because it's faster than using a wrench, although you can certainly use a wrench with that. But our LSM racing products, our valve spring changer tool, it runs, oh gosh, I've been doing all of this without notes, which is pretty amazing because I always have notes. I don't actually know how much, I didn't write this down, how much this one is. Remember the speed handle is like 49, and I think this might be 228. But we'll pop a link into the comment section, so you'll be able to just click on over and pick one of these up. This is an item that we stock. We do sell an absolute ton of these, and really, really grateful. I mean, we love these products from LSM. They're just such high quality that it's just not going to wear out. I mean, you're going to buy it and that's going to be it because you won't need another one again. I mean, it's just heavy duty. It's that 6061 T6 aluminum, so super heavy duty. Love it, just absolutely love it. And so we're glad to talk about that today. All right, so let's jump into those questions that so many people have asked. Let's start off with number 5. One of the biggest questions we get is, when should I freshen my engine? So, you know, people want answers like how many laps or how many races, but really the best way to know when it's time to freshen your engine is you want to do a leak down test. And you want to do a leak down test after every 10 races or so. And by doing a leak down test and actually recording those results, you want to record it somewhere because then you can start seeing when your engine is starting to fall down a little bit. Well, you'll also see it just on the numbers and how much leakage you're getting from the cylinders. And when you see that number creep up, then you're definitely want to investigate if it's time for you to go ahead and get that engine freshened, if that's allowed wherever. I know I deal with a lot of my customers are all over the country. Some places you can freshen your engine, some places you can't. So, but if you are in a place where you can freshen your engine, that is the best way to know whether it's time for you to freshen your engine. And of course, I sell leak down testers, and we have a video that shows all of that. It is one of our oldest videos, once again, kind of going back to the vaults of when I started first doing video. It is probably the worst voiceover I've ever done in my whole life because I was trying to sound like all radio voice. It was terrible. It is so terrible. But the information's good. So we keep it up there, and then you can be entertained and think, oh, wow, she really was terrible at video. So you can feel better about yourself. All right, next up, in our number 4 question, what ignition timing do you recommend? So this is a question that comes up for anybody who's buying a new engine, and it comes up with 602s and with 604s. Of course, we deal with both of those. And the simple answer is you want to run 34 degrees of timing. Now, this is something that comes from Hendren Racing Engines. Well, they're not the only one. I talked to several engine builders, you know, in the midst of all of CrateInsider, and they all really agree on that 34 degrees of ignition timing. The only caveat to that is if you're on a chassis dyno, and on that chassis dyno that you can, if you want to tweak around with the timing, wow, I made a tongue twister. If you want to tweak around with the timing, you can do that on a dyno, and you might find that a little more or a little less timing might work better for your particular engine. But as a rule of thumb, you want to go with that 34 degrees. And if you want to see more recommendations like this recommendation comes from Hendren Racing Engines, their 604 recommendations and their 602 recommendations. I've done a video on both of those. You know, again, the quick answer is 34 degrees, but you can check out those videos too. We'll go ahead and drop those links into the comments. All right, next up, question number 3, spark plugs. Spark plugs comes up all the time. So the first question I get is, what kind of spark plug should I run? Does it matter if I'm using a particular kind of fuel? And then with that, how much spark plug gap? So I'm going to tell you the spark plugs that we recommend and have been tested with all kinds of fuel. I mean, really, whether you're running an oxygenated fuel or a non-oxygenated, E85, any of those, is these NGK R5724-8 spark plugs. They have worked splendidly for, gosh, I mean, so many of our customers. They literally are the only spark plugs we sell. And of course, Hendren has you know, I work closely with Hendren Racing Engines. Of course, many of you know that, and they're right there in the same town as I am, so I get to see the chassis dyno work that they do. And they've tested all kinds of tricked out spark plugs. And honestly, if you just want to pay more money for spark plugs, you can do that, but there's really no need. I mean, these run $22.32 a set, so they're not an expensive spark plug when you compare them to the other ones on the market, and they perform week after week. Of course, you want to change them every once in a while. But with the gap, let me answer that question too, because that is one of the most popular questions, is you want to run it to 40 thousandths gap if you're using an MSD type of a distributor, and you want to run it at 35 thousandths gap if you've got an HEI distributor. So that answers, so we got kind of got a 2-for-1 in that question right there. So before we move on to number 2 and number 1, I wanted to say hi and say hi to some folks. And oh, I see Jody Miller says, great April Fools. I'm glad you liked that. We had so much fun making that video. A lot of people, I did actually have one of my friends ask me like, hey, you should post the outtakes, like where you laughed, because there's no way you pulled that off in one take. And I was like, yeah, I kind of think I did actually. So more of it happened in the editing than anything else with that video from yesterday. Here we go. We've got lots of people saying hi. Let's see. Marshall Jones says, if I run the Klotz oil, do I need to add the Daytona 1 oil additive? No, you do not. And that actually comes from Daytona 1. And let's see here. Love my LSM valve spring tool. Yeah, Derek. I mean, I love them. I think they're such a great product for sure. Great. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Mitch says, are you having a bad hair day? Got a cap on? No, actually, the only reason I'm wearing the hat is because this is what we're giving away. Well, you get the new version, the one that's all folded up and stuff, but that's the only reason. I'm just advertising. I'm a human billboard right now. So my hair actually didn't look terrible. Not that I really worry. There's certain things I just don't worry about, like the hair. Like, it is what it is. It's all I got. All right. So with that, we can move on to question number 2. How often to change valve springs? Oh my gosh, I hear this one a ton, all the time. We even made a video on it. How often to change valve springs? Well, they're really and then also where to buy valve springs. Of course, I sell them. So I sell 602 valve springs just as they come from GM. I sell 602 matched valve springs. I sell the 604 Beehive springs and the 604 Beehive matched valve springs. And what matched means is we take them out of all the boxes, we go through and rate them all, and then we repackage them. But they're all legitimate GM valve springs. None of that, what I just said, answered the actual question, which was, how often should I change valve springs? And the answer to that is really from our friends at LSM, is their valve spring pressure tester. And it's an on-the-car tester. I didn't bring one out. I apologize for that. But the valve spring pressure tester does a great job. And you want to really test your valve springs after each race weekend. So when you install a fresh set of valve springs, you want to use a valve spring pressure tester log, which we do have one on the website somewhere. It's probably with the video, how often to change valve springs. There'll be a link somewhere in there for you to download that log. But with that, then you just want to track it. So track it when they're brand new. And then after each race weekend, just go ahead and pull off your valve covers and just quickly test your valve springs. Now you want to have the same person do it from week to week, because that tool, when you turn the engine, you want to have their spring at the right spot. And we're all going to pull a little bit differently. So if it's the same person, you want to keep them in the log. And then as you see those pressures start to fall off a little bit, then you'll know that it's time to change them. So that's our best answer, is just, it's always test, test, test. I know a lot of people want to hear like, oh, after X number of race laps, but you know, I really hate to see you guys buy something before you actually need it when something's perfectly good. So to really save you money and get the best performance overall is just test them every once in a while. And so that's with our valve spring pressure tester from LSM Racing Products. I didn't even know that I was going to feature them so much. It just all kind of worked out that way. All right. And the top question that we hear over and over and over and over again is, what fuel should I run? Is the number one question we hear. And so I'm just going to kind of break down like a little bit of a hierarchy of fuels. So first of all, and you're going to kind of kick yourself out, mostly rules based, is really, you want the best fuel that your rules will allow you to run. That's pretty much how you may end up making your decision. So first of all, if you can run methanol, run methanol. It is going to give you the most power. It's going to have better cooling than any of the other fuels. And so if you can run methanol, just do that and don't worry about any of the other fuels that are on the market. Secondly would be your oxygenated fuels. These will be fuels like your clots, like the CR601 or CR604. You've got the VP fuels, the CHP, Renegade, the Ratman Elite. Any of those oxygenated fuels would be the next tier of fuels for you to check out. Next down from that would be your race gas. So like a VP 110, any of those race gases that you want to use. And then down from that would be pump gas. Now, pump gas or airline fuel, don't use airline fuel. Airline fuel is awesome. It's a great fuel if you're 35,000 feet in the air. Perfect fuel for 35,000 feet in the air. But on a racetrack, not so much. It's just so dry and it's just not the best choice for your engine. Pump gas is just kind of sketchy. I mean, if you're going to do it, go ahead and buy yourself 55 gallons of it at a time so that it can all be consistent, because you're never going to have a good night if you're messing with your carburetor the entire night. And just week to week, if you're trying to just fill up, 5 or 10 gallons week to week, that fuel is not going to be consistent from the pump from week to week. And you're just setting yourself up for, you just want to go to the races and race, right? I mean, you don't go there so that you can mess with your car for the next 4 hours and never feel like you quite got it there. So that's why. It's not like pump gas is a bad fuel. It's just not as consistent. And when you don't have consistent fuel, and there's a lot I could say, so it's not most recommended. But I hope that answers your question. E85, if they'll let you run that, a lot of times we've seen some series that won't allow oxygenated fuels, but they'll allow E85. E85 is an oxygenated fuel, so you will have an advantage if you have E85 and other people can't run oxygenated fuels. So that's the only time we really recommend E85. So there we go. So that would be our Top 5 Tuesday, our 5 big questions that we've heard for the last 5 years. And I'm going to bring up my random number generator and also take a look and see if there are any other comments or questions that people have. And let's give away some stuff, because I love doing giveaways here. And I've got people from all over the place. And just thank you so much for being here. My goodness. Oh, so many comments. And I do have Alex in the studio today, so he's gonna help me out with finding a winner. And let's see here. There we go. And all right. So get a couple of numbers, and he's looking people up right now. And he'll have some answers for me in a moment. I'm going to see if there's any other questions. Gosh, thank you for saying great show, Marshall. God, I mean, I'm so grateful for all of you to be here. Now, I will tell you, if you're not, while we're waiting to find out who's the winner, I am going to go live this afternoon as well in my Facebook group, which is Winning Motorsports Marketing. If you are interested in learning about marketing for race teams and how to get sponsors and that type of thing, I really invite you to join our group. I don't think we have a link prepped for that, but it's a group that's actually attached to Crate Insider and Winning Motorsports Marketing. All right, so Mark Newton, you are one of our winners. So Mark, and make sure that's the hat, right, Alex? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Mark, you just won the LSM Racing Products hat. So Mark, if you would, please go ahead and send me a private message and I will send that out to you. And then Derek Borkenhagen. Derek, you just won our, I don't know where the other one went, but you just won a sling grip. So Derek, please go ahead and you also please send me a private message with your address and I will get that sent out to you. But I want to seriously, thank you so much for everything, for being here, for being part of Crate Insider. And if you are interested in marketing and sponsorship and such, then join me over in my Facebook group for Winning Motorsports Marketing, where I do some free training over there. I have some paid training as well, but right now I'm doing free training lessons each week in that group, and would love to see you over there. So I will see you next week at Tuesday at 2 o'clock for Top 5 Tuesday.